Hey, what's up? This is Ben with WODprep, and today we're going to talk about a simple step-by-step pull-up progression that you can do with little to no equipment. So all you're going to need for this video is a pull-up bar. This could be a pull-up bar at a local CrossFit gym, it could be at a Globo gym, or you can just have a simple doorway pull-up bar. Today's progression is going to teach you how to do strict pull-ups with minimal equipment. So really quick, if you are trying to learn strict pull-ups, I highly recommend you go to wodprep.com/pullups or click the link in the description below. We have the ultimate guide to pull-ups that you can download totally free. And if you go get that, it will be great to supplement with this video so that you can finally get those first few strict pull-ups and eventually move on to kipping and butterfly and chest to bar and things like that. So level 1, this is where I start a lot of athletes, is we need to learn how to do what's called a passive hang from the bar. I know it seems simple and a lot of you watching this can probably already do it, but a surprising number of people will try to do pull-ups, but they can hardly hang onto the bar for more than 20, 30 seconds. So that's what we're gonna do. Level 1 is called a passive hang. All I'm doing is I'm jumping up to the bar, I'm relaxing my shoulders, literally just holding onto the bar slightly outside of my shoulder width, and I want to hang there and I want to build up to the point where I can hang for at least 20 or so seconds. Obviously, ideally, I want more than that, but once you can comfortably say, hey, I'm hanging and I have no problem hanging for 20 seconds, then it's time to move on to level 2. Level 2 is what I call an active hang. So that's where we're actually getting our shoulders involved. It's really the first part of the pull-up. In order to pull yourself up, it's not all here, okay? It's not all your biceps and your shoulders, it's actually a lot of your scaps. So all you do in an active hang is I grab the bar and I pull down on my scaps. So I'm pulling my shoulder blades down, and that really is actually the first part of a normal strict pull-up, or any pull-up for that matter. But what we're gonna do is I want you to learn how to hold this for about 20 seconds. Couple things to note, whenever we're doing these hangs, especially in the active hang, I really want you to focus on holding a nice tight core while you're doing it as well. I don't want your legs flailing around. I want you to try to hold what's called a hollow body position. As you can see here, I am simply pulling down on the bar, my scaps are active, aka my shoulder blades are pinched together, and I'm also maintaining a nice, strong, hollow position. You can see how my feet are pointed out in front of me slightly. I'm not really bending at the hips, and I'm definitely not letting my core stay loose. So I'm staying tight and I'm hanging on the bar again for about 20-ish or more seconds. Level number 3, and this is where it starts to get pretty difficult for some people. This is a chin over bar hold. This can be pretty difficult, especially if you're missing the end strength, that final pulling strength. But what you're gonna do is you can take a box or you can just do a normal pull-up bar, jump up to where your chin is over the bar, and you're going to hang as long as possible with your chin above that pull-up bar. For some of you, it might only be a few seconds, and that's okay. That's where you start, and you need to slowly but surely work up from there. But for some of you, if you can do 15, 20 seconds with your chin over the bar, no problem, then you can move on to level 4. A couple things to note. Again, I'm holding and maintaining a strong hollow body position. I'm not letting my legs flail around. You probably will see in this video that I'm shaking, and you'll probably be shaking too, but the goal is to accumulate time over the bar. This is a more demanding movement, so I'm not necessarily going to expect you to hold 20 or 30 seconds of it, but once you feel comfortable holding your chin above the bar and you have the requisite strength to statically, basically without movement, stay above the bar and not fall down below it, then you are probably ready to move on to the next level. So level 4, this is where a lot of people start, and I think it's actually wrong, so there's a reason this is level 4. It's called a pull-up negative. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump, get my chin above the bar, and if you want some bonus points, you can actually hold your chin up there for a second, and then when you start to lose that strength, you can't hold yourself any longer, you lower yourself down all the way to full lockout as slowly as possible, and that is called a pull-up negative. When I'm doing the negative, again, I'm maintaining a very strong hollow body position. My core is tight, my feet are together, they're pointed. And then as I lower myself down, the goal is not to just get down and drop. The goal is to stay slow and controlled. So you can see here, I jump up, get my chin above the bar, and then I'm slowly lowering all the way down. Now, during this movement is probably where you're gonna find out where your weakness is. If you have a tendency to drop from the top and then you can slow down at the bottom, that means the top of your pull-up is probably where you're weakest. If you have a tendency to have plenty of control at the top, but then when you get to the bottom, you kind of lose it and drop, then you need more strength at the bottom of your pull-up. So negatives are a great way to figure out where your strength is lacking, and then in the next step, we're gonna work on that specific area. But for now, I want you to be able to do, let's say, 4 or 5 negatives in a row You can take a few seconds break in between each one, but 4 or 5 negatives in a row with a nice controlled descent. That means it's taking you 2 to 3 seconds at least to lower yourself down. All right, time to move on to level 5. So this is called a segmented negative. This is a great drill to work on specific weak areas. A segmented negative is where I'm doing the pull-up negative, but I'm actually pausing during that movement. So again, core tight, hollow body position, all the same things apply. My hands are just outside my shoulders. I'm going to jump up to my chin being over the bar, hold for 1 or 2 seconds, lower down slightly, hold for another few seconds, lower down more, hold, more, hold, and then I always like to do one right at the very end with that active scapula position. So just like that active hang, I hold there for a couple seconds and then all the way relax down to the passive hang. So we're kind of working our way backwards. We're still doing all of the levels that we've done before. We're just doing them more slowly and more controlled in the form of a segmented negative. So if you imagine, it's kind of like going down a staircase. So we jump to the top and hold, drop a little bit down and hold, drop a little bit farther down and hold, all the way down to the bottom with a slight active hang, hold, and then all the way down. Obviously here you can increase the time you spend under tension by holding for longer in each position, or if you want, you can do it for a second or two. Obviously, the stronger you get, the longer you're going to be able to hold in each position. Once you can do a few segmented negatives with lots of control and a very, very distinct stop at each position, then you can move on to the next level. Okay, level number 6, and this is the final level of the non-equipment strict pull-up progression. That is partial pull-ups. So this is pretty much the last step before doing a full range of motion strict pull-up. This is actually where a lot of people in other gyms when I say other gyms, I mean Globo gyms. This is where a lot of them think they're doing pull-ups, but they're really not executing them to a full range of motion. A partial pull-up is kind of like a prison pull-up or a no rep or a bro rep pull-up. Basically what you're doing is you're working a pull-up, but you're not going through the full range of motion. I like to think of it as 3 different movements. So we have high partial rep pull-ups, we have medium partial rep pull-ups, and we have low partial rep pull-ups. The high pull-up looks just like this. You can see I'm jumping above. I start by getting myself over the bar, and then I lower myself down slightly and then back up. Down slightly, back up. Down slightly, back up. And what I'm doing is I'm simply developing strength in that last final bit of the pull-up. So I'm coming down and back up, and down and back up. You'll notice here I'm trying to stay above 90 degrees with my elbows. It really doesn't matter where you are here. Obviously, the farther you can go down and pull back up, the better. But in the beginning, I would just start imagining yourself moving like 5 or 6 inches at the most. So 5 or 6 inch pull-ups at the top. Obviously, it probably goes without saying, the medium version of this is in the middle range of the movement. So imagine doing a pull-up where you're almost fully extended and you pull yourself up to where your chin's not even above the bar. That is the medium range pull-up, and that's where I'm going to learn a few reps. This is where a lot of people will probably be lacking strength. That middle range of the movement is a great place to work. And again, I'm just trying to move like 5 or 6 inches at a time. As you get stronger and as you accumulate more reps, you can generally expand the range of motion. And then the last one is called the bottom or the low range partial rep pull-up. So this is where I start at the very, very dead bottom. I activate my scaps and I just pull myself up maybe halfway and lower myself back down. So again, I'm doing pull-ups. I'm just not getting my chin above the bar. There's a negative connotation to not getting your chin above the bar, but I want to tell you right now that that is totally fine. As long as you're working strength in all of the ranges of motion throughout the strict pull-up, you will see major improvements. So you can even add weight to them. If you're missing that end range of your strict chest to bars, you can do more top end partial rep strict pull-ups and you're gonna get stronger at that end range. You can always add a little bit of weight. There's a lot of different options here. So practice level 1 through 7, and I assure you, you will be on your way to learning strict pull-ups once and for all. The great thing about this progression is you don't need any equipment other than a pull-up bar to hold on to, and maybe a box to help you jump up and get your chin above the bar. Please let me know in the comments what you think. Which level do you think you're at right now? I recommend going home and trying all of these. Granted, if you try them all in one day, then you might find you're gonna get really tired, and that's okay. The goal is to spend more time under tension, and then you will learn strict pull-ups. If you really wanna learn strict pull-ups, make sure you click the link in the description below, and it's gonna take you to a page where you can download our ultimate guide to learning pull-ups. Thumbs up if you liked the video, thumbs down if you didn't. Don't forget to subscribe. And question of the day, just like I mentioned earlier, is what level do you think you're on? give as much detail as you can provide, and maybe I'll be able to respond and give you some feedback and give you a couple pointers in the right directions. Also, be sure to check out our other strict pull-up videos. We've got a lot of them here on YouTube, so check them out, and I will see you next week.